Hey, folks, and welcome to the Daily Ratings Podcast. It's a show where each week we're going to be sitting down with Vincent Daly to get his thoughts on the latest movies he's been watching, both older films and new releases. And don't worry, there's no spoilers. Vince will give a brief review of the movie, share some thoughts, and of course, then rate the film. The daily ratings are always fair, honest, and most importantly, they're consistent. On today's show, Vince will be rating and reviewing. We are jumping back to 1971, where we're covering The Hospital, and that's directed by Arthur Hiller. Then from 1973, Paper Moon by Peter Bogdanovich. Then from 76, we have Network by Sidney Lumet. And then from 1998, Run, Lola Run by Tom Tykwer. So we spun the wheel last week. These are the movies on the wheel. Let's get Vincent Daly in the room, hear what he's got to say. Stay tuned and enjoy the show. Mr. Vincent Daly, how are we doing across the table, my friend?
Thomas, how's it going?
It's going okay with me. I really enjoyed this week. How about you?
It was a very interesting week.
Yes, it was.
We were picking up connective tissue in surprising spots.
I wish we knew a little bit more, seeing as though we're on, year 3, year 4 of doing a podcast.
Right.
Yeah. I was like, how did we miss this?
Yeah.
But we had a lot of connective tissue.
Yeah.
But, man, The Hospital, Paper Moon, Network. The 370s movies, the odd man out, I think, is Run, Lola, Run.
It really is. I know. We could have had, such a solid 70s episode with, just getting one more in there. But, if the goal was making an episode out of nothing, I think we succeeded.
Absolutely.
Because this was a very interesting week.
If you missed last week, folks, we just knew that this week was a dead week, or we had stuff that we didn't really want to watch. So we put a bunch of movies on a wheel, spun it 4 times, and these are the movies that came out. I picked The Hospital and Network. Vin picked Paper Moon and Run, Lola, Run.
Mm-hmm.
And the connective tissue is the same guy that wrote The Hospital and won the Oscar for screenplay for The Hospital, also wrote Network, which is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's really the only connective tissue.
No, we got one more. O'Neill, the guy that plays the father in Paper Moon, his first breakout role was directed by the guy that directed The Hospital. So there's a little bit more. And then really the only one for Run Lola Run is nebulously connected to Cloud Atlas. which we always reference. Yet to review Cloud Atlas, but
yeah, and then things we got wrong. The girl in Run, Lola, Run.
Oh, I have a whole breakdown.
Okay, all right.
I got the.
That was my fault. I feel bad about that one.
That was my fault. It was my movie. I introduced it poorly. I think also the consensus is we keep the wheel as is and we add to it.
Because we had 10 entries.
Yep.
Only 4 got picked.
Yep. So the next time we're just going to do 2 from each of us again.
Yeah, fill in the gaps.
And then that way, I think it also fixes if there is a wheel that it's all my picks or all your picks, then the follow-up to that is now you get to populate the wheel with
I like that a lot.
More.
Yeah,
So.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
We'll definitely be doing it more, probably this year.
There's a surprising amount of dead weeks. It's a good year for movies so far. Surprising amount of dead weeks.
We'll see how it all fills in.
Yeah.
But again, it's still only March. It's early. It's March 17th. So, but no, really good week. All these movies, it turned out to be actually kind of a great week.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I enjoyed it. I watched all these.
Right.
So... no, super great. Did you any opening notes or anything like that?
No. I think that's about it. Like I said, if the goal was to make an interesting episode out of nothing, I think we killed it. I think this was a great week, and if only just for watching a bunch of 70s movies.
Okay.
So.
Did you? How about it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know what you're getting into, or were you just? Hey, just hit with...
Especially for our first one. I did not know what we were getting into. And then you were like, oh, but wait until you watch Network. And I'm just like, I kind of get what you mean, but no, The Hospital was unreal.
Okay,
it was unreal.
Right. Okay. I think... Should we start then?
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump back to 1971. The film is The Hospital. It's starring George C. Scott. It's directed by director Arthur Hiller, who doesn't do too much. Patty Chayefsky.
Yes.
He's the guy who ended up doing Network and has some cred to his name.
Yes. Interesting writer.
Yeah, and I found this not because of the writer, not because of the director. I found it because of George C. Scott.
Yes.
And what do we watch now with George C. Scott? And watched this a while ago and has just been floating around. So now, it just by dumb luck, it was the network. I didn't put two and two together. That's what ended up the wheel. I mean, called it divine providence of how that wheel got spun. But
honestly, the wheel
fact
was
that
blessed.
these two are done together, because I watched the network first, and then I watched this again with you, and I got to tell you, I just saw a lot. It just made sense. If you were I'm just say it right now, if you were a huge fan of Network from 1976. This is the baby film. This is the less put together, the little bit more rocky, the little bit more indie film of Network.
Yeah.
And that is an absurdist look into the world of the newsroom.
Yep.
This is an absurdist look inside of the
hospital.
hierarchical structure of the hospital, essentially.
Yeah.
Anyway, you break it down. We'll take it back and forth. Just set up 71's a hospital for us.
Well, the only thing I want to add to our writer, Patty Chayefsky, connects us to Network. He also does a little horror movie that I've been eyeing up for a while called Altered States. Apparently a very psychedelic horror movie, but kind of interesting there. And then again, the only connective tissue that we have to our next movie, Paper Moon, Arthur Hiller does Love Story a year before this, which is the breakout role for Ryan O'Neal, which was pretty interesting.
We're just crushing it this week, then.
We are
Once again.
crushing. Where do I begin with The Hospital, though? I'll say I went into this really liking it with the both of us watching this together. I certainly wanted all the picks to be bangers this week, but, I mean, almost everything I have to say boils down to what it attempts is pulled off far better in Network.
Yep.
Or it kind of just fell flat for me.
Okay, that's all right. You're okay.
The Hospital is self-described as a dark comedy medical mystery. I suppose. Tom, you added the objective of absurdist to it, and I feel like that certainly ties to our writer's style.
Yeah.
That there is a heightened reality to some degree to both of these films. I straight up don't feel good about calling it a comedy. I just, in my bones, I don't feel good. Because even though, it's certainly satirizing elements of 70s society and the industry that it's chosen for this time around, it's just way too sad most of the time to call it a comedy. This is a sad movie.
I was smiling through most of it. I mean, I really was. Every time I watch this.
Do you think we're supposed, and we'll get into, obviously, George C. Scott himself, but do you think we're supposed to laugh at George C. Scott? Where is, this being a comedy first come from?
Well, I think it's more laughing with George C. Scott and at times laughing at George C. Scott because he is.
Because that's I had trouble kind of separating the two.
Yeah, I know you were morally challenged on this.
I was.
There was at one point something very intense on screen was happening. I was laughing, and Vin was like, "I don't know if we should be laughing right now."
Yeah, for real.
But that's where I say absurdist because everything is so over the top and then so direct. It's like, oh wait, he's actually doing this right now. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, we follow a depressed alcoholic Dr. Bach, played by George C. Scott, in a hospital on the edge of collapse. The staff is overworked. The patients are mistreated, and everyone is either dying to get in or wants to tear the building down. Within the few days of chaos we get to see, patients and doctors alike start to mysteriously drop like flies, adding up to a freak coincidence. All of this stress causes a further spiral, though, in Dr. Bach, deeper into booze, contemplating self-harm, as this medical malpractice certainly must indicate the collapse of everything he spent his life building up. Will the doctor find purpose in life, responsibility, or simply run away from a sinking ship altogether. I would say something interesting of our writer is that he really loves his depressed characters.
Yeah, he does. Yep.
And also wouldn't survive in today's algorithm with how much self-harm there is to both of these. But yeah, our writer, Patty, he gets the Oscar for original screenplay in 1972, otherwise a year that was utterly dominated by William Friedkin's The French Connection. And I bring this up because clearly many people see what I don't in this movie. I think the comedic style, not exactly meant to be laugh out loud funny. I wouldn't say that about Network. I wouldn't really say about that like in the decade. It's not that we don't get those type of projects in the 70s, but instead this is hyper cynical and really dark in its irony.
Yeah.
I think a lot darker. The head to head between this and Network, which one is darker? I think this one is darker just because it's dealing with like a lot more of people's like actual lives in the stake.
Yeah.
But Network has a more meaner spin to one specific character. I would say, when it comes to comedy like this, satire is probably my favorite form of comedy. And though I might be removed from the exact society that this is poking fun at, I don't know. I didn't find it to be like that funny.
And it's not, listen, dark. It's definitely dark comedy.
Yes.
And darker humor. It's a black comedy where.
That's maybe even closer because it's like
it's not laugh out loud.
No,
it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be witty, gives you a smirk.
Yep.
Got gallows humor a little bit.
Yep.
For sure.
Cynical.
Now with this, his writing though isn't. I don't think he's known just for that kind of writing. This guy fleshes out his scripts and his ideas a lot. Mm-hmm. He's not afraid to send somebody on a monologue a little bit, or even a dialogue. That is ramped up big time in Network, in my opinion, where so many characters are just like, here's a full page that you gotta go right now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And for better or worse, almost kind of aware of themselves within the narrative of
very
the story.
Much so.
Which I could see. I don't know. I could see both sides of an argument of like if that's good at writing or not.
Right. And I think there is an intelligence to it that makes it okay.
Yes.
I think where sometimes it can get long in the tooth. Sometimes I feel like I didn't think about I was going to bring this up, but even like the show The Bear, oftentimes they give a character, not an episode, but they definitely give each character a moment.
Sure.
Where it's like, we're going to do a very slow pan into you and a close-up on your face, and we'll give you a massive dialogue or monologue for you to just go on. And it almost comes out as like, it's like masturbatory. I can't even say it. But it's like, oh, here's your Emmy shot.
Yes, this is your soapbox.
Yeah. I think Patty here does it a lot better. I think I think it feels much more in the film. It's of itself. It's not taking you out of it. Mm-hmm. And I think that helps. His wit and the way he can just go has an intelligence to it that really helps it along.
And you're right on the money as far as like the intelligence being like the words he's writing, the dialogue, the actual depth of what these characters are saying are like at a high level.
And this 5 years before Network. It's totally the baby form of it. Even just the fact that like the Network is 2 hours and 10 minutes or something.
Yep.
And this is an hour and 43.
Yep.
Like everything about it is smaller, is not quite as cooked.
Right.
You know what I mean? It is the proto version.
Proto
through
version
and through.
Cast as well. Rewatching Network, I found it interesting of just like, I always thought that was the Peter Finch show. It is, but it really is a 4-part act of a 4-part juggling act. It's an ensemble cast to Network that each of these characters are all participating in the story in a big way.
Yeah.
Where here, again, to your point about it being proto, feels like this is all on George C. Scott's shoulders by design in the story as well.
Correct.
But like it's really all on him.
But the connections are so similar, and we're really bleeding these two kind of reviews into a little bit. But I think naturally, the small things, even some of the stereotypes for the people. We also have even just like the booze that's related, kind of the outbursts that are related. Right, the young girl wants the older guy.
Yeah.
All these things.
Yep.
Yes.
One implemented much better than the other, but I'll let the score speak on that one.
And that's it. You're just hanging out for an hour and 40 minutes with George C. Scott realizing everything is crumbling around him, including his own life. And he's aware of it, and then just the absurdity of this random mystery that's going on.
Yeah,
it's like, why are people dying in the way that they're dying?
Yeah, I think that's the bright sides to this is that where I was not able to I don't know, really get with the satire of it, just for a lot of things that kind of disconnected with me. I think everything that we did laugh out loud about was around George C. Scott just being like a spirit of rage on screen.
It's beautiful.
And it's everything you want from him.
Absolutely. That's the thing.
He single-handedly saved this for me.
Everything I want from George C. Scott is in this film.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, and I think that's why I love it. I mean, his dark humor, his absolute kind of deadpan style of humor at times.
Yep.
I mean, I just love the scene where he's talking to the psychiatrist. I love when he's talking to Brubaker or Rubaker, whatever his name is, and he's just like, if there was an oven, I'd stick my head in it. I mean this kind of stuff. It's just some of his lines are unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
And that's the thing. You have his explosive rage.
Yeah.
I mean, when he goes, you have drunk him. I mean, he looks like he's actually coming off a bender.
You said it, you're like, wow, he really looks like shit. Yeah. Like, wow.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, he has just like wild rants in this. I like that he has like anger around the incompetence of the staff.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where it kind of bridges a little bit into this mystery of just like, well, he maybe didn't pick up on some of the mystery because he expects so little from the staff around him. Right. He knows they're all messing up. But I mean, you've said it before in the podcast. I mean, without a doubt, the one of the best of these rants ends with the line "Power to the impotent baby," and I mean, it's gold. It's gold.
He screams it. He's practically cracked. He's probably breaking the boom mic. Yeah. Like it's almost getting too loud.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And he even has like charm in this.
Yeah.
A little bit with the girl, but even when he finally gets with the younger doctors and he's going around.
Yes.
Like
that's what I said. It was like
I
want George C. Scott in a alternate reality house that was made in the 70s. You know what I mean? I want a medical procedural drama with George C. Scott.
Yes, one eruption an episode.
Yeah, exactly. But just him teaching, interns and shit like that.
Power to the impotent baby.
Oh man, but yeah, he's just George C. Scott, such a hysterical performance, being a nut job as usual. I think you pluck him out of the cast. I don't know if there's a lot going for this for me. It really is like all on his shoulders.
That's correct.
But luckily, like it's like wonderful to have that all on. If there's a single actor in the 70s, I want it all on his shoulders. It's this. It's George C. Scott. Let me circle back a little bit into like the story structure. For the first half of the story, I was kind of just waiting for things to start. Like we establish the characters of the hospital and plenty about, what George C. Scott is going through as a character, but largely I just had like no idea where anything was going.
I think that was your biggest mistake. Waiting for things to start, not realizing it started already.
Right. You're not picking up the crumbs of what had started. But that just like ties into like, you watch Network and it's just so refined. The idea, the structure of it, even just splitting the story between 4 characters versus one being the central one. I wasn't kind of guessing like who is a supporting cast in Network. I definitely was kind of just like, who do I need to key into here?
And for the hospital.
Yes.
Right, and the answer is kind of just George C. Scott.
Yeah.
Where the Network is, like you said, it's everybody.
Yeah.
It's pay attention to everybody, and everybody kind of gets an arc in a way.
Yeah.
And this, not to mention, Sidney Lumet is directing that. One of the greats.
Yeah, the organization of that idea definitely at play there. And listen, I'm not exactly shitting on Hiller. He's done stuff.
No, for sure.
But
even the way, like, both movies start with narration.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just kind of setting the stage for what's going on. There's so many
both
through
movies
lines.
end crazy abruptly. To the point that the credits are a jump scare to both of these movies.
Yeah, you were really waiting for something else, and it's like, no, Vin, that was it. To lead Vin to go say,
I
like,
definitely
that was a
said,
terrible
that's
movie.
It?
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, man.
But one thing I would say is if you're interested in checking this movie out, I think what could have helped me, and again, I have beef, and I'll talk about this with Network as well.
Yeah.
I have beef with what like genre they throw this into, and maybe that's just a credit to Chayefsky's like genre-lessness to his writing. It's almost one of a kind in ways.
Yeah.
Here, I would just understand that this medical mystery side of this is really becomes the backbone of what the story is, and the time that we're spending within the story. And while I had some logic issues with the back half of the runtime, I feel like that is, if you're interested in checking this out for George C. Scott or otherwise, understand that it is a mystery. It operates plot-wise as a mystery,
Yeah.
So.
And that's why I really say, too, I think give it a watch for the George C. Scott aspect.
Yep.
Give it a watch if you are a huge fan. Network is beloved by
Yep.
a lot. Like, it's obviously a very well-known movie.
Yep.
If you do love that, I would say watch this because you can see all the breadcrumbs that made Network.
Right. Yep.
Other than that, I mean, even everything like what cameras were they using, it does seem kind of TV movie quality, even though it's not. It's a proper movie.
Yeah, that's right.
But everything's a little bit lesser all around.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just think, like, a lot of the time watching this, I was just confused. I was just, like, actually confused.
So satire, I'm going to sound like an idiot here, and I'm sorry.
No.
But, like, Scrubs, the show Scrubs, is that spoof or is that satire?
I want to say that's spoof. I've actually never watched Scrubs, so
Right.
maybe
I think I watched 20 minutes of it in all, whatever, 12 seasons it is.
Got to bring up the new season, it's in the algorithms.
But the point is, like, I hate that. This is not that.
No.
This is not Scrubs satire or spoof.
Right. And whether or not it even succeeds along riding the line of satire.
Right,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's maybe not the best example because it's certainly not the smartest movie, but I always point to Starship Troopers of being satire because on the surface, it seems like it's taking itself perfectly seriously about being like an oorah, let's kill these aliens, let's kill these bugs. But in actuality, it's like saying, like, no, this is like the humans are the bad guys. Like this
Right,
is,
yeah.
There are that satirical elements to it. So,
And that's with this. It's almost more Coen Brothers dark comedy to me, where you'll get smirks.
Yep.
I'm not laughing out loud. It's not a comedy, but a Coen.
certainly.
And I think the
If it
characters,
was?
I think it's utterly quotable. This film, like a Coen Brothers film. I'm just saying, I'm really hot on it. I might watch it when you leave tonight.
Well, that was actually going to be my last note with this because I am definitely in a position that I do not see what the hype on the movie is. And there is hype. This has been inducted.
There is.
No, there is.
Okay.
It has good scores. It's won Oscars. I mean, Chayefsky alone just for writing won the Oscar in a what probably is a landslide year. And on top of this, like, this was, like, inducted into the National Film Registry in 95. Like, there is...
A lot of those things are.
No.
It's because it was nominated
I
for
don't
Best
know.
Actor and won for Best Screenplay. That's why it made it in.
You think they're scraping the barrel?
I think I'm the one holding this movie up right now. That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know.
I think I'm the only one in America living today.
Well, I'm saying I think you do have some people in your corner, and maybe some authorities even on this in your corner. But I just found myself wondering if this was some kind of like long game troll from you to get me to watch this. Oh, I hate to say it. We're going to give The Hospital 1971 a 41. It was a 39 for a while. You actually walked out of my apartment and you go, 50s? I was like, I did not have the heart. I truly didn't have the heart. But I think it cracked a bit above that.
The fact that you kept on saying for like an hour and a half after the movie, you're like, I can't tell if you've been trolling me. You've been trolling me. It's like literally a year I bringing this film up. As if this was my plan all along.
Right.
It's like, no, I kind of like the movie.
And it really, I mean, there is
beautiful thing.
It cracks 40s because I mean there is a enjoyment almost
This is all because I didn't like La La Land.
No, I swear. No grudges on the podcast.
Oh man.
But I kind of struggled with him, just like, again, kind of trying to think about the comedy. I was like, we're laughing at George C. Scott in a lot of ways. Is this a Spig contender? Like, is this a, does it work on that level for you?
No, because I think it's way too smart.
Yeah, true.
It's way too aware of itself.
Yes. There are. It's Chayefsky's knack is that kind of character self-awareness.
And I told you this afterwards. Just like you do kind of have to pay attention, or else that will overpass you.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of
the mystery will
It's a lot of
overpass
talky. Yeah, pay attention to what people are saying, and it will become funnier. Take notice of some of the faces on screen because they might come up later. That's the thing. It doesn't really hold for it being a dumb movie.
Right.
It actually doesn't hold your hand all that much.
Yep.
And the more you just kind of like not paying attention that much, you will not like this movie.
Yep.
Not saying that you weren't paying attention, but
No. I feel you though, and it's a good point because I feel like that's also this is an older form of comedy.
Yes.
Even going back to the 70s.
Yes,
but
yeah.
like this is not what we know as comedy in any sense. Like it's like Chayefsky's unique as hell in how he's crafting this, and then on top of that, it's like it's an odd premise to begin with.
Right? Yeah. I love it. 41% for The Hospital. Absolutely, give it a watch, folks.
No, I need the two shoes. You need to illustrate the gap.
I had to
because I don't know what the gap is.
So I didn't plan on giving it because I'm a little stuck on what to give it to be honest about it. And
It's a tough movie.
I haven't locked it down. So my heart says give it 2 shoes and a lace.
Okay.
It's like it's 4 out of 5 stars.
Holy shit.
I think to be fair, I'm going to give it 2 shoes at both laces untied.
Okay.
So we'll give it an official stamp. 2 shoes, no tied laces.
I think, listen, as much as you
Which
love it.
Which basically is around a 65, 68%.
Sure,
That's what that is.
Yeah. I cut the notes about it, but I really think, like, I would love to almost do a soft re-edit of the film just to make it a little snappier, maybe.
We could do that. We could put that out then, too.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll enter it into some festival.
Right.
The Hospital re-edit. That'd be first thing we do together.
That's great.
And then after that, we'll get some credibility for that.
Yep.
And then that's when we go to try to find funding for our Wuthering Heights remake.
There it is.
Me and you.
There it is.
All right, let's jump to 1973. This film, once again, I'm just embarrassed because now I do the research on the films and realize how much this is known, how much this is loved. And when you said it last week, I'm like, wow, what's it about?
No, listen.
Who's involved in it?
Nothing is worse
just
than
like we have a movie podcast. It's embarrassing.
No, nothing is worse than what I said with Run, Lola Run, which was like every bullet I gave was wrong, was incorrect.
See, that's why I like doing this. We don't have 20 years in the industry, and like, let's do a podcast. Let's cut our teeth on this together.
Exactly.
And we'll grow together with the audience.
We'll do it live.
And we're not afraid to look like absolute idiots. Okay, so 73, Paper Moon. I really want you to set this up because very unique film, very interesting. Even just you watch it, you wouldn't think it was made in 1973.
Sure.
Which I love. But set up Paper Moon. We'll take it back and forth.
Yeah, well, like I briefly introduced last week, this landed on my list for reputation alone. If I had to really track it back, I think I maybe stumbled on this in 2 ways. First, inspired when I played The Last of Us 2 and just kind of in general researching that like kind of father-daughter writing tropes. And second, definitely when Criterion picked it up in 2024. The elevator pitch, though, for the movie really pulled me in, though. A black and white film coming out in 1973, no less. That's like a crime dark comedy. It sounded right up my alley, and turns out it was. I really loved this movie. Paper Moon is a road trip crime comedy adapted from the 1971 novel Addie Prey. I felt that the tone of this film was a well-executed juggling act, as it goes from cute and almost family fun at times to a dark dose of reality for the harsh decade our characters live in. We're set in 1936 Kansas, smack dab in both the Great Depression and Bible Belt, making your average walk of life not too quick on the draw. This hollowed-out state is a land of opportunity, however, for a shady Bible-selling stranger who we open the story with as he attends a funeral in the countryside. Hoping to get in and get out, Moses sees the little daughter of the deceased is now orphaned and gets roped into helping her out. Quickly, he starts using the little girl as part of his schemes, but the little Addie is one smart cookie and immediately clocks him as her potential father. On the hook for more and more, Moses, or just Mose, has to get Addie to St. Louis, but she is a real sponge for his swindling ways, and flipping the table on him multiple times to always get what she wants. I would say writing-wise, I thought this knocked us out of the park. Whether that goes back to the original book or not, I loved the edge of the dialogue here for how sharp characters spoke, and how that introduces us to the world of crime in this. This had some Tarantino-ish dialogue. This is Tarantino slickness to it. Whether that this is actually a 70s film, that feels older or what, but I felt it was like not only entertaining to watch unfold on screen, but really did wonders for the storytelling in this throwback decade. Like, again, it's black and white. You even look at screen grabs of this movie and you're like, what, 73 this was made?
The fact that this was made in 73 is probably the most impressive thing to me. Because when I was watching this, I was like, man, it feels like we are in Depression 30s right now.
Right.
They did a killer job.
Absolutely.
Now, a lot of the time, there's kind of country-esque, so you don't have to worry about too much. But they get into a town once in a while.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, this feels like a 30s town.
Absolutely.
In a really good way. So very impressive on that end.
Yeah, I mean, once we get into really all over the 90s and the 2000s, black and white will be used stylistically.
Yeah.
We've talked about when it's done, in the Western space as well. I feel like just this idea coming out in 73, though, is just such a cool project. I really was just in love with it.
It felt of era.
Yeah.
But just because now, okay, so 73, it's kind of taking place 40 years prior in the past. Okay, so now if we're in the 80s, mid 80s,
Yeah.
you can make films kind of set in the 80s and it feels like it a little bit. But then when you watch a new, and I don't know how many there really are, but you're watching a new film that actually feels from the 80s.
Yes.
Two different things.
Absolutely.
About the 80s, of
Yep.
the 80s, but feeling like the 80s is a different thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And they felt like the 30s big time.
Yeah. I think it works also as a great crime film because of how we're taken through the steps as the audience. Like, understanding the con was very entertaining and keeps the pacing snappy.
You know what I kept on calling this?
What?
Crime 101.
Yeah, for real. No joke. We needed more of that in Crime 101. We needed, plan it out
breakdown,
more. Yeah. I would call this like a great crime flick for that reason. Both Mose and Addie are, really some of the sharpest hacks in the whole state, but every person they swindle really contrasts that cutthroat reality they live in. Well, everything from the Bible to the New Deal to songs of the era might tell people to lean on each other. Our characters are born outside of that ideology, and I just think that's also where this guy has a seriously dynamite name for the movie because of how it ties into all of those themes, no less the Ella Fitzgerald song, but Paper Moon, the kind of a fugazi paper, you know what I mean? It's thematically all tied together of just these people are outsiders to the human experience because of how they participate in crime. Just really interesting stuff.
What did you feel inside when you were witnessing a 10-year-old smoking a cigarette on screen?
I was like, yeah.
Really?
No, this was awesome.
Wow.
She cracks her knuckles.
She does crack her knuckles, yeah.
But
she definitely is smoking and bringing. She's not
multiple times. The father doesn't smoke and she smokes.
Right, exactly. She's not doing the Bill Clinton. She looks like she's inhaling. It looks like she's inhaling a few times. And I'll tell you, it's like
back to the 30s.
It's a little racy. Yeah, it is going back to the 30s, but she is 10.
Yeah. A little bit.
Talk about another thing that's done differently than today.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, that's a good point. That would be interesting to look into if it was did they have in the 70s herbal cigarettes? Probably not.
They probably had
was sponsored by one of the cigarette
Lucky
companies.
Strikes.
Yeah, for real.
But it's just funny. The Fellowship of the Ring came out in 2001.
Yeah,
and they were worried about Gandalf smoking too much, so they toyed with him and they tried shoots of him sucking on taffy and chewing taffy. And they're like, "This is not working. We need to give him a pipe." But you know what I mean? They were thinking about is this too much smoking?
Yeah.
And he was like a 10-year-old lighting up,
like an actual
in every other scene.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, I think that's a good bridge. Folks, if you watch movies for acting performances, though, this is really something else and should earn a spot on your watch list just because of how unique it is. At some point, both John Huston and Orson Welles were attached as potential directors, with Paul Newman set through all that pre-planning set to star. Oof. Now, I'm not saying that's not some heavy hitters there.
Yeah.
That's some serious heavy hitters, but I cannot tell you how much cooler the project we got was and how it resulted in just so much more of a gem of the decade. Our two leads, Mose and Addie, are played by real-life father and daughter, Ryan O'Neal and Tatum O'Neal, and this plays into, I think, effortless chemistry on screen that really blew me away. The fact that I'm watching this, and again, to your point about the research and us being
it's so embarrassing, yeah,
idiots. This is unanimously known as she's the youngest actor to get the win and whatnot. I'm watching this and I was like, wow. This little girl can act. I'm like, wow, they really got a lot of chemistry. And then I just organically found of just they're father and daughter. Oh, this is a Hall of Fame performance and as far as Oscars go. What is going on here?
You know why we're so caught? Because we hit the year of so much.
Yeah.
So we're in the year of 2026.
Absolutely.
Our heads are so focused on 2026. We only have so much time.
There's nothing close to this interesting in modern day.
I know. But we only have so much time to stretch our wings. Christ, we're trying to go through 100 years of cinema here.
Exactly. But I think there really is like some effortless chemistry between these two. And believe me, if the kid angle of this fell short, I'd call it out right away. And that's where I'm like...
Oh, we would call it out right
would
away.
love Paul Newman in that role. At the same time, who's the kid then? You know what I mean? I don't know. Does Paul Newman have a kid that we can act with? I don't know.
So did you see that? I believe there was a show that came out a year after this that had a young Jodie Foster.
Yes.
Now, so you could have got a really young Jodie Foster.
Absolutely has the chops back then too.
I didn't know about the Paul Newman thing. Now I want to see that movie. But I have so
John
much.
Huston, too.
I have so much love for these two, real life father and daughter, and I think Ryan O'Neal crushes it too.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, everyone talks about the daughter Tatum O'Neal, but I think he does a great job specifically.
Yep.
And I think he was around 33-ish at the time, 32, 33 when they came out. This is almost like the Cowboy situation where John Wayne is great in that. But would I love to see George C. Scott, who originally had that role? Yes.
Sure.
But I'm still happy we have the John Wayne one.
Yep.
I could see you go either way.
That's a great comparison. Because that feeling is so real.
The feeling's real.
It almost like John Wayne does feel irreplaceable, but
Boy,
back the clock.
boy, do I want to see that one. Boy, do I want to see
Power to the impotent, you little rascals.
Oh, man.
But yeah, these characters are great. Moses is comedically spineless in his cons, in their relationship even.
Right,
he always backs down. It's very playful, but has moments where he really shines as a father figure.
Yeah, because he's swindly as ever.
Absolutely, like scumbag.
And not a good guy. Right.
Right.
And then it shines through.
Yeah,
The balance is there.
There's such a good balance of like... he's a criminal, but it has morals. Almost like I don't know. It worked on me. It worked for me on a level of just like so many examples.
Ocean's 13. Yeah.
I mean, not top of mind, but sure.
Okay. What were you thinking?
No, just like I don't know. Everything from like Matilda, Leon the Professional, maybe some anime even. Like
that route you're thinking.
Not Ocean's 13.
But it is. It brings you to a character that you dislike, but then all of a sudden they give you enough sugar.
Absolutely.
And you're like, oh, I'm rooting for this guy.
Yeah, absolutely. And Abby, similar thing, 10-year-old girl, smoking cigarette, cracks her knuckles, but clearly, looks for concrete structure to hold onto her in her life.
Yeah. You have a kid wanting to be a kid.
Exactly.
And wanting that father figure, that structure. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. So just really, really awesome character work. And that's two sides, acting and writing to this. And again, I'm kind of interested in looking at the book or reading the book when it comes to this, because I don't know where to point to if that's adaptation or not. They're fun characters on the surface, but what allows them to have depth is, again, how effortless these two work together on screen. We've hinted at it already, but Tatum O'Neal goes on to win the Oscar at age 10 for Best Supporting Actress, and no doubt in part to a fantastic early diner scene where we kind of first see this table flip in their relationship, that like this little girl is kind of strong-arming this con man. It's a magical scene. I think it's honestly worth watching the movie alone for. And for real, let me just say how proud of a dad he must have been to bring his daughter into this production. And she wins an Oscar? Like, it almost brought a tear to my eye. This is beautiful. It's so great.
It's very cool.
I mean, really, really, just wonderful. So... Paul Newman or not, it's a really cool. I think that is what makes this such a gem of a movie.
Yeah,
almost like a once and done. You can almost never do it again.
Mm-hmm.
So, but folks, this film definitely, like I said already, definitely has some Leon the Professional vibes. Clearly, in how we're introduced to the world of crime. I also bring that up because lately I've been questioning if Leon the Professional is in a what must watch anymore. I'm not saying we're gonna cut it, but.
Okay.
It's got an 89, I think, on the site, which is like, it's kind of a lot. I would also say this strikes some of the magic of Danny DeVito's classic Matilda for how darker plot beats mix with those family-friendly elements. But honestly, I just thought this was incredible and such a unique gem of a film that I personally can't wait to watch again. We're going to go ahead and give Paper Moon 1973 a tentative 82. I really want to watch it again. I kind of wanted to give it a must-watch, honestly.
What, really?
Yeah.
Okay, no, an 82 is a fantastic score.
It's 82 for now. I didn't have a chance to, my rule is always 2 watches if I'm going that way.
If you're going that hard on it. Okay, so 82%, folks, don't sleep on it, whether it gets an 84 or not. 82 is really good. 1973's Paper Moon. You can see if you have Criterion Collection, but you can just rent it on Amazon as well.
Yep.
And I thought this film was absolutely delightful.
Yep.
I loved, I just went in with no expectations. All of my research came afterwards. And I'm just really impressed by it.
Yeah.
Everything. From the writing, from the duo, from the director, and the way they brought you back 40 years from when this was made.
Yeah.
And they just made you feel of the era. And it was just really well done. I told Vin, it felt to me like a really long movie. It's an hour and 42 minutes.
Right.
To me, it felt way longer, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
Right.
But I meant in like, holy shit, this story... There is a lot of beats to this story.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different scenes. We're in a lot of different locations, and a lot happens with this duo. Mm-hmm. And by the end of it, it's only an hour and 42 minutes, but you're on a journey with these two, and a really good journey. 82% is a fantastic score.
I think the key to that as well is like we're taking through 3 cons. Like you watch this movie, you can pull off 3 cons.
Oh, there's even smaller ones. Oh, there's more than just 3.
Yeah, but like
I mean,
there's a lot of maybe not restart or stop and start, but there's just so much covered to it.
Yeah,
that it does feel longer than it is.
And then even like the quick hits where she turns the $5 bill into 20. I mean, just that small stuff that's thrown in there.
Great,
excellent. Okay, let's jump. We're now in 1976. Loved how we were hitting the 70s this week. 70s.
I know. I want to do it more.
I know. We love the 70s.
A separate wheel for 70s.
Network 1976. We already talked about it a bunch. The great Sidney Lumet. You just set it up, and we'll continue to talk about it like we were.
Sure. Well, folks, we kind of covered a lot of this just in the cross-pollination between the hospital and Network. But this is a film that has lived on as both a classic and iconic, but honestly, where Network stands out to me, it's the rare case outside of science fiction where a story kind of forebodes something with shades of truth in modern day. Pre-podcast, I gave this a 72, and I think that definitely deserves a bump, especially having a lot more appreciation of our writer, Chayefsky.
And you saw that a while ago. I mean, that was going way back in the couch days.
Yeah, I want to say that's 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
Because I checked it out for everything that we know Network to be. You know what I mean? Like, it's a legendary movie.
It won. Let me just go down the Oscars real quick. It was nominated for 10 Oscars, and it won for actor in a leading role, actress in a leading role, actor in a supporting role, actress in a supporting role, best director, best writing, screenplay, and was nominated for editing and cinematography, and then even just like there were two lead actors. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
On the surface,
and nominated for best picture, of course.
Exactly. On the surface, I think like that's where I wanted to check this out as almost like not a rite of passage, but like needed to get it done.
Yeah, exactly.
Needed to get it on my belt. I think on the surface, folks, if you have not watched Network, I think those surface level aspects really work. It's a tentpole film from Sidney Lumet. Again, Chayefsky is one very unique writer, all of the Oscar wins. But frankly, what got me to check out was, that seeing Peter Finch's famous line, "I'm mad as hell," from my own eyes. Seeing how, in a dramatic sense, it actually worked in the story and really is still just as legendary. I mean, like, it really is a iconic scene. But whether I saw it originally as a satirical work of its time or not, Network has predicted so many unfortunate qualities that have defined what we kind of consider news coverage today. The concept of "if it bleeds, it leads" might be something that this pokes fun at in a moral sense, but it's pretty clear it's the path we walk down with news. Even one of the most baseline aspects of the story, in the very beginning of the story, there is this acquisition of the channel by corporate partners. Certainly that drives the satire in the story of just like how terrible as this is that this is happening, but like rings undeniably true today of just like, yeah, of course, like, all these networks are owned by other companies,
right?
You know
and
what I mean?
Nothing changes.
Yeah, exactly. And those companies are profit motivated rather than like anything else motivating them.
You say this movie is predicting this movie was because it already was. It has been and it continues to be.
Right, exactly. So once again, though, Network is described Like The Hospital, dark comedy. There's some description genre-wise of being a psychological drama, but even on this rewatch, I just don't see a lot of the comedic spin here. I think I just have beef with Patty over this. It's absurd. So I lean on your adjective again about there's absurdist qualities.
Let me. There's the kind of the subtitle on the movie poster.
Sure.
Right. Prepare yourself for a perfectly outrageous motion picture. And that is what it is. It's outrageous absurdity and funny. I
don't know if that's funny though.
I think it's in on the joke. It's poking fun at being. It's taking all of the stereotypes, cranking it up to 11.
Right.
And
they're cartoonish.
And splashing it on the screen, and you just kind of drenched in it.
Well,
it's another reason why. I mean, if this is a precursor,
yep.
You look at how the little bit marketing that's coming out, but Alejandro and Inarritu's and Tom Cruise's movie coming up in October, Digger.
Yeah.
He's calling that an outrageous absurdist comedy.
Interesting.
And I'm wondering how you and I are going to play on both of that. To me, it sounds up my alley.
Yeah, right.
We'll see for you. You know what I mean? But I see
spiritual sequel to The Hospital.
I see the humor. I'm watching The Network and The Hospital with a smirk very often on my face. I don't often laugh out loud to many things.
Right, no, absolutely. And I don't think this wants that either as a piece.
Mm-hmm.
But
the wit. Well, and that's okay. That's why it's so funny last week when I brought it up, and it's it's a comedy. It's in our vein that we're hitting, and you're like, I watched it. I didn't really think it was a comedy.
Exactly. That's where I said whether I picked it up as a satire originally or not. I've always just seen this as a drama. I think for my appreciation of this film even and the story is just how tragic the arc is for all of our characters. It's the story is pessimistic towards TV generation concepts like almighty dollar. You know what I mean? It's pessimistic, and I mean I guess that could be funny, but I find that tragic. When I watch this, even on this rewatch, I find that tragic. I feel like all four of our main characters have a tragic trajectory. They don't end up good.
I know, but it's so fun. It's so funny. I mean, I've always been bigger. Gallows humor always hits harder with me than you. Yeah. Not that there's a gallows humor in this. There's a little bit. But even, man, just because it's so... It's the wit of some of these monologues.
Yes.
And especially who's the... the actor's name who is it William Holden? Yeah,
yes.
He's the head of the news department.
Yep.
Man, he is given longer and longer monologues throughout the film.
Especially towards the end, yeah.
Yeah, and to me, they're so... what's the word? I'm stumbling constantly here.
Self-aware?
Yes, I think that's what it is. It's so self-aware and so pinpointed and it just knows it's in a movie. He knows exactly where he is.
Right.
He's kind of stepping outside the screen.
Yeah.
And to me, that is funny. And it's difficult for me to take a movie like this seriously.
Interesting.
No matter how dark they try to go.
Interesting. No, you're exactly right, because at times he's commenting on things almost in a fourth wall breaking way of where his character is at in the story, which is again where I commented Chayefsky is a smart dude. He clearly is he knows what he's writing, but I don't know. I'm kind of on a knife's edge of just would I consider that really good writing or dangerously close to bad writing?
And that's per taste. Mileage will vary, type of deal per person.
Right. We follow the many lives around Howard Beale, the self-described Mandarin of network television, and their role as either friends or vultures in his spiraling mental decline, which parallels his ratings. Again, not very YouTube-friendly. When Howard announces his plans to shoot himself on air during next week's broadcast, it only worsens the imagination of what his channel, UBS, will do for their struggling ratings. Radically, they throw Howard back into the time slot to be a quote-unquote angry prophet denouncing the hypocrisy of our times, end quote. But soon, they will have a mouthpiece that they can't control. With success blinding Howard's professional leeches and disturbing his closest friends, the classic Pink Floyd lyric comes to mind. We call it riding the gravy train. Tom, we spoke about this already, but talk about a refinement of everything that's in the hospital.
Yes.
A refinement.
Yes.
The hospital is crude oil. But I really think, like, whether it's the few years or if this was more love was put into this writing. I mean, Chayefsky's satire writing, I mean, really, really dynamite stuff. He gets the Oscar once again here. He gets one more Oscar in his career. I forget what. I think it was something earlier in his career.
He has 3 for writing?
3 all for writing. Never does anything besides writing. Yeah, I know.
Okay. My guy.
And again, not on my radar, like, at all. Like, it's like, who's this guy?
I mean, there's a lot this movie has. So I knew Network mainly for the Ned Beatty speech.
Oh, okay, yes.
And for it always...
That's a good point. That's equally iconic.
And for it being always one of that classic... tiny amount of screen time, and yet walking away with the Oscar for Best Supporting.
Yes, that's a good point.
This is iconic for that.
Yeah,
but along the treasure trove of iconic things on this film.
Yeah. I think both stories of this certainly love having that depressed lead character prone to self-harm. Not sure what's up with that, but almost on every level, I think this is just much tighter as a story. The commentary is sharper. I feel like the commentary also has more ammo to work with around TV production. And personally, I just kind of made a note of just like, I feel like it's a better target for the satire as well, where with the medical field, there are clearly going to be well-intentioned characters in that, cartoonish or not. But here, everyone can kind of be a piece of shit because it's showbiz.
It's so true.
I mean? I'm not going to say like a punching up or punching down, because I don't think that exactly works, what these two movies are after. But Network at least worked for me as a satire or in those elements because it was like, well, anyone can imagine like a really like piece of garbage showbiz exec and like how they wouldn't care about human life or something like that. So these ideas are brought to life through a wider cast of roles, and honestly, I think this movie is packed with great performances rather than just being on the shoulders of one actor. Robert Duvall is great, or something Duvall.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We had our George C. Scott, something George C. Scott.
There's this show me the money hand move.
No, it's not showing the money. It's like
Tom is doing.
No, it's like when you taste. It's like you're eating something and you can't quite pick up what that flavor is. That's what I'm trying to get.
Yes.
That's something
George C. Scott, something Duvall. That's great.
Duvall's great, though. I mean,
yeah, he really is. This is like golden age of Duvall for me, just because everything I see him in, whether it's his hairline or his attitude. I mean, he's Tom Hagen from Godfather, and like one of my favorite characters.
Right? Yeah.
But I just love that this character, like the arc of this, is that he's like the puppeteer at first, but in reality, he's just on the leash for the stockholders. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's true.
Faye Dunaway. Great cutthroat producer in this. Really embodies.
She's fantastic.
Yeah,
she's really good in this film.
Yeah, we covered Mommy Dearest way back when with Faye Dunaway, but I think more Faye Dunaway would be awesome.
Yeah,
I don't know what else is like to her.
She just really nails it.
Yeah,
and won the Oscar, deserved it.
Yeah, and in some ways, you could argue if there is a single lead, it could be her. Just for that, how she drives the plot along, but really, really phenomenal, and again, embodies just the dangerous shifts in making their programming about entertainment versus anything else, no less news,
Right.
William Holden, I'm a bit torn on, just because I liked the character so much at first, and that he was like our bastion of truth and whatnot, and then he's just kind of a piece of shit at the end.
By far my favorite character.
Yeah.
Not saying I hated everybody else or anything like that.
Sure.
This guy, I just like the through line with him. Even, he's in and out of the story a little bit. He's in and out of the newsroom a little bit. But yet his character remains, and I think he's just kind of given the most. Yeah. Honestly. And I really like... something about it. And again, I think it's because he has those long monologue moments.
Absolutely.
And I could just sink my teeth into that a little bit.
He definitely gets the best of the share. Almost every character has one, but he definitely gets the best of the share, and a lot of them too. So for me, top of this movie is seriously anytime Peter Finch is on screen. I think he's electric.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. He's such a nut job in this. I think this performance works for me because it sells how the audience members of his show within the story are captivated with them, even if they don't know what exactly he's talking about, how he's rambling, this like prophet, angle of it. But I feel like that happens as you watch the movie, because you're like, wow, how is he being allowed to be put on TV? What is he, let me lean into what this rambling is actually talking about, I just think it's great. And that's the big money shot there, of course, is, I'm mad as hell. I'm not going to take it anymore.
Yeah. And it's just so funny, again, just the connections back to the hospital. It was crazy seeing the breadcrumbs and the DNA being laid out 5 years prior to so many similarities.
A man at
these.
his breaking point.
Yes, and being struck in with a sense of, I don't know, godly duties that he has to, perform upon the world.
Right.
Hilarious. But really, everyone's doing a good job because even that character, they can only use him so much because he gets so crazy. They really just kind of spotlight him and pepper him in throughout the film. So much more is going on with Faye Dunaway and William Holden.
Yes.
And you know what I mean?
That's what I mean. And that's where even in like the summary, it's like Beale as a character is almost like the tool of the story. Everything is happening around him, even though he's not exactly, he's not exactly the main character of it. And definitely towards, again, the what I think, again, is very tragic of all these characters, but most tragic for him, how he's used. Oh my God, this is horrifying. But
real quick, I just thinking back to it now, was there a lot of music throughout the film?
No.
Because Hospital was almost, you pointed it out,
dead quiet.
Almost dead quiet. We get some music.
And the contrast of the opening credits being like freeform jazz out of nowhere. It was like, oh, okay.
There's like small music cues, 40, 50 minutes into the film. Or an hour into the film even. But yeah, Network, I think, not a lot going on there either.
Not a lot.
Which I'm okay with.
I am too. I think that it definitely shows a certain level of confidence to it. So,
and I think it has a staying power too.
Yeah.
It's not flooded with a 70s soundtrack.
It's not dated.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great point. My original appreciation, though, of this and what has grown on this rewatch is, again, just how smart that script is. I spoke already about these prophetic aspects to how much has come true in like the slippery slope of what the script is about, but within the dialogue is a beautiful dissection what each of our characters represents, how they understand themselves, and often, might be hyper aware of their own lives and how they exist within the narrative. However, it still gives room for 4 phenomenal acting performances to shine in a huge way, and plenty of other supporting ones as well. With that said, like I said, we're going to go ahead and give Network 1976. The old one was a 72. We're going to bump that to a 78.
78% and a 2 shoes and a lace.
There it is.
Stamp it on there. Absolutely, 2 shoes and a lace. It's really good. Not top tier, not 2 shoes and 2 laces, but there's just so much staying power.
Yeah.
The fact that our media is still such shit, it just makes it still
profit
current and exactly.
Yeah.
And just a joy to watch. I've definitely found it to be more of a comedy. And could turn this on. I did turn this on again, like the next day after watching it.
Jarring credits.
And watch
it happens. It's like, oh no, that's the credits.
I loved it. But yeah, I started it over and watched like the first half again.
That's great.
Over because I just enjoyed myself a lot. 78% for Network. I think appropriate bump up, by the way, Ben.
Yeah, I think really. I mean, it boils down to that 72, maybe a bit younger, maybe didn't pick up too much on the satire. And definitely didn't pick up on the depth of each of these characters.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, one quick thing I forgot to mention with Paper Moon. So they were uncredited, but talking about the power of the 70s, do you know who was the 2 executive producers on the film?
No.
Francis Ford Coppola and William Friedkin.
Ooh, wow.
I mean, talk about a decade. These two were just going ham.
Crazy.
Those two were balling out.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if they're not making the hits themselves and they're Oscar winners themselves, they're in the
rooted
money.
in others.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. Okay, hey folks out there listening, do you find yourself enjoying listening, or do you find yourself going to the website and checking around there, looking for movies to watch? And most of all, do you appreciate the no ads on the site and the 0 ad breaks that Vin and I are just shilling out products to you week after week? We're not doing it here like just about every single other podcast does. That's because we are going off the value for value model here. We don't want to be advertising based. We don't want to be Patreon where we forced you to pay a certain amount of money a month and you get bonus content and go that route. Value for value basically says, do you enjoy what we're doing here and are you finding it valuable? Well, if so, that's value in your pocket. Can you send us some value back in our pocket? We are completely listener supported. We are producer supported. Anyone who donates into the show, into the daily ratings, becomes an actual legitimate producer of the daily ratings. Because just like in Hollywood, when you financially support a project, you're a producer of the project. And that's how we're doing it here. We also don't want to do Patreon because we don't want to tell you exactly how much you need to send in. It's value for value. And everyone's on their own finances. So if a cup of coffee is what you can give this week, we can't tell you how much we appreciate like $5 or $6. If a cup of coffee is not that much money to you, then we really appreciate $50 or $500. It's up to you. If you go to thedailyratings.com, head to the donations tab, and everything's laid out there. There are some set donations like buy Vin a movie ticket or the Gump Club or Space Odyssey donation, but the big value for value button is there that you can click, and you type in whatever number you want, whatever amount you would like. And how much are you enjoying it? You know, are you a casual listener? Are you listening every week? What's that value? Again, it's great seeing more and more people find us. Just remember that, Vin and I, it does take a lot of time. At a minimum, pass our name along. Get us into the conversation. If you hear somebody talking about movies or those other movie podcasts, throw our name in there. Throw a little, get a little daily ratings in there. But basically, it is really just kind of Vin and I putting the hours in every week. We do love it. But if you love it too, could you donate in? Could you become a producer? There's this one podcast, Vin, that I listened to. This was a while ago. And they were like, we're only going to do one ad. We're only going to do one ad per episode. Okay. And he goes, because if you do more than that, the audience becomes the product. And I really like that. And I think I said it a few times, like early on the podcast, because it's true how it worked. Like all we want to do is get as many downloads as possible, and we literally shop the downloads around.
Right.
That's how everybody does it. So they just want the downloads. Please click on it. Please listen to our slop so we can take you as a listener and shop you around to different advertising markets.
Right. Not what we're going
best
for.
Bang for our buck. And then we just, by the way, so then I was like, I'm going to tune into them because I haven't listened to the guy in a while. He's got like six ad breaks. I was like, wow, this guy totally fell down the stairs on this one. Terrible. Folks, we don't want to do that.
Yeah, no.
We don't want to do that. So again, value for value, it is catching on. We certainly didn't invent it. More and more podcasts are starting to do it, but we want to go this route. We don't want to show products to you left and right. We don't want to bloat the website up with pop-up ads everywhere. And we want to keep it in-house. This is a great little Daily Ratings family. Just remember, when you produce, when you donate into the show, you can also write in a producer note. This can be questions, comments, critiques. Ask us anything, say anything. If you have something that you've been wanting to tell us, donate in, and we're going to read it right here on the Producer Thanks segment. That's how we're doing it. So write your producer note in. You can email us at tom.vin@thedailyratings.com. That's our email, and that's how we're doing it. Please, if you would, go to thedailyratings.com, head to the donations tab. And don't forget about the Daily Ratings shop. We never plugged the shop.
We don't plug the shop.
I updated it recently because there were better quality hats that just came in, so I refurbished all the hats. I put some really good... I like my hoodies to be thick. I like big, thick hoodies.
Two C's.
So I swapped out some of the hoodies, and we're not trying to gouge everybody on the prices. I think Vin and I we'll make like, I think $250 to like $450 per product. We're really keep prices low just because it's like, hey, if you like the Daily Ratings, get some wear as well.
Yeah.
So you can check out the shop if you go to thedailyratings.com. Anyway, that's how we're doing it. Please, if you would, support us if you're enjoying yourself here, because we certainly enjoy having you. With that, Vin, let's head into the... No, let's not head into the theater. What am I saying? Let's head back to 1998.
To Germany.
This is the odd man out of the film. This was definitely your pick.
It was also the shortest.
Don't know.
And I have the least to say about it.
Okay, great. I can't say I have a lot to say about it either.
Yeah, there's not a lot of meat on the bones.
Run, Lola, Run. Original title, Lola Renta.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I think it's just Lola Runs.
Yeah, in German. Yep. You set it up. Go over our mistakes that we made last week. The both of us get into the film. We'll take it back and forth. I did watch it. Hanging on. Boy, white knuckling it. Fingertips. Barely hanging on. But I did manage to get through all 1 hour and 20 minutes of the film.
Yeah, it's a short one.
Set it up. We'll talk about it.
Well, we have to start with those corrections to save myself from embarrassment last week. Down the list of like every bullet I gave was wrong. This is not French. It's very German. It's not the Fifth Element girl, Mila Jovovich.
That was my fault.
No, but I was with it. I was
so convinced, and I knew who this was, and then I was just like, "Oh, this is the Fifth Element." Nope.
Yeah. It's Franca Palenti, the girl who will go on to the Bourne movies, and even
Patenti.
Oh,
no, well, no
got
Palenti.
food on the mind. It's a polenta.
Palenti.
Yeah, it is pretend to.
But yeah, best known.
Franco will get to you when we cover the Bourne movies.
Yeah, best known for the Bourne films alongside Matt Damon.
Yeah. And even my elevator pitch was wrong. Yes, the story is in 3 parts, but it's more of like a time loop in the narrative rather than different perspectives on the action. So that's what I get for not prepping my notes. But nonetheless, this was a film I've been wanting to check out for forever, since it's often cited as an inspiration to like so many projects you never believe from the 90s to onwards. From films, video games, music videos, TV series, segments within TV series. It quickly became a cult hit, and I wanted to check it out for my own. So, Run, Lola Run is a crime action thriller, but, I mean, kind of oddly philosophical in the most European way you could ever imagine. We're kind of giving glimpses into characters' lives beyond the scope of the story, and basically what the movie is trying to drive home, even in its time loop aspect, the time loop isn't a literal kind of loop in the narrative. It's trying to drive home what role chance and determinism play in what we see unfold. After a botched money drop, Lola has 20 minutes. That's it. 20 minutes to come up with 100 grand in order to save her boyfriend from a crime lord that will eat them both alive. The story shows the branching realities of how she would go about that impossible task, with mere fate swapping the tracks on what decisions she makes, or more importantly, the circumstances that happened around her decisions. That high-pressure 20 minutes makes for a tight action runtime, though. And between those realities, only one thing is certain: Lola is going to run her cute butt off all across Berlin. There is a lot of running in this movie. Let's not understate the running.
No, it's a lot of running.
There's a lot of running.
I'm not going to say I was expecting more or less. I think it was
appropriate amounts of running.
When it's called Run Lola Run and only an hour 20 minutes, it's what I thought.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for the recommendation here, I think if you're into seeing amateur films that can kind of shatter their own mold, Run Lola Run is really one of a kind when it comes to that experience, and I think worth checking out. The editing and the camera work is wild. It is in a very, very 90s way, possibly the most 90s way possible.
Very much so.
It makes sense that our director, writer, and even, I think, composer as well.
He does a lot of music stuff.
Yeah,
He did some music things for Cloud Atlas.
Yes. It makes sense why he would go on to work with the Wachowskis, because, boy, are they peers in this side by side with The Matrix. Is like, that's late 90s right there. There's like mixed media thrown in, from cartoons to Polaroids to TV shows, but above all else, why this movie was working for me is just that sheer bleeding edge of the pacing, just being everything I want from an action movie.
Okay, all right.
So much here took me by surprise, but I think what works for me is exactly how it's amateurish. I think this was a real case where I was looking at this movie, and if they were to remake this in some way, a Western remake, more polish, I feel like it would lose what it has going for it. Its amateur qualities, almost going back to our director's first special. That's the way that this was working. I liked how amateur it was.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how it would be if it was remade. I see you there.
Yeah.
I also didn't really like the movie.
Okay.
So there's that.
Fair.
You know what I mean? Like, you're right. Should it be remade? No. But also, did it work for me in the first place?
Right.
No.
You're not sending the check on this one.
No. This was a tough one for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Even with it being so short?
Sure. No, and that was great. I mean, that I knew the ending was around the corner. I think the 90s of it all, the anime, the swapping of how this film looks. You're right, too, just changing up the actual cameras that are being used at times, the different shots that are taken, and then the overall just, let's restart the story plot a little bit, the mixing and the mashing. Just like I said, I could sink my teeth into those long monologues in Network. There was nothing I could sink my teeth in on here. Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't know, I couldn't. It didn't allow me to care.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when we switched it up again, I think it maybe just jumbled my brain a little bit. And maybe I just had too much goldfish brain watching it. I don't know what it was.
No, I'm with you. I mean, I think there's a lot there that's even confusing with like just it being a foreign language film, of just like picking up on the little things that are supposed to signify change in the tracks swapping.
And there's something to be said. I know going into it, I know how short it is, and I know it's supposed to be fast paced and run Lola Run.
Yeah.
And something about that electric thing of just get me to point A and point B, and the absurdity takes place and yada yada. I don't know if I want to see a chopping up of the story and breaking up lines and plot and giving me different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think so. Maybe it was a lot more than what I was expecting, and that threw me. And I think that's where, as soon as it started, it was tough for me to hang on.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get what you're saying as far as like just the overall scattershotness of every way that where this story is being presented. Like it already has the gimmick of broken up into 3 parts, or we're going to see 3 different dice rolls of the story.
Yes. Yeah.
We already have that aspect. There's already a possibly picking up the differences between those 3 different timelines of it, but. Then on top of it is just like, again, it moves into a cartoon. Certain scenes are being presented in like Polaroid, almost slideshow. Like, it's just like, it really is all over the place. I think I don't want to say punk rock, but I was able to enjoy it in the sense of like, wow, no rules here. You know what I mean? That's where I like the amateur quality of just like, you get a bigger team behind this. People are going to say, oh, no, we should dial this back. I like that it was so wild.
It was free. Absolutely.
Yeah. And in that sense, again, very, very European. Like it's like the fact that you dive into the dialogue around this film and people are like, oh, yes, but what does fate versus determinism mean? Yes. And they're like talking philosophically about this. It's just like, run, Lola, run.
I know the American version of this is just Rat Race.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. But, other thing I was digging about this, though, soundtrack slaps. This is a awesome industrial underground feel. Again, side by side with The Matrix as peers. This definitely, going back to that director's first episode, I have a soft spot for these late 90s grungy digital type of movies.
Yes, you do.
We talked about the same thing with Aronofsky's Pi. Where it's just like,
wow, yeah,
that's a rough movie to watch as far as the quality of it, but I love that movie for all of its flaws and all of its amateur qualities. I think something about that rugged early digital look of these movies and mixed with a pulsing soundtrack is just something I crave. Maybe that's a soft spot. Maybe that's nostalgia, but that's something I just really, really enjoy. Beyond that, though, it's a hour and 20 movie that I can't and really don't want to talk about to death because there's not a lot, it's already looping within that, hour and 20. It's really, kind of 20 minutes of real substance here. I would say much how this became a cult classic for a lot of artists and creators to riff on. I think there is some depth in the ideas here around like what role circumstance has to play and how that exists almost as a conversation after watching. My recommendation is much more surface level. It's all found within the blistering pace of the film, the raw chase action that, after all, is the namesake. We're going to go ahead and give Run, Lola, Run, 1998, a 68.
Okay, a 68. That's a very respectable score. Like I said, I was not hot on this at all.
Yeah.
I was hoping that you were, and probably felt that I knew you were going to like it more think it's just more up
I think
or
the
out.
internet's way hotter on it than either of us, though.
I know, but this just reeks of like culty. Of course, a bunch of bros like have this in their back pocket. It's like, you really want to see real cinema in the late 90s? This is what you want to watch.
Right, you say you like The Matrix, and then they hit you with Run, Lola, Run.
Bug's Life. Watch Run, Lola, Run. And me, I'm a Bug's Life guy. You know what I mean? But and you are halfway in between that. So
yes, I'm halfway in between Bug's Life and Run, Lola, Run for The Matrix.
So no, and I can respect it. And I like her, by the way. I have no issues with this actress.
Yeah,
like we're cool, no problems.
Yeah. I think I just there is a degree of like I like how rough this is. I think you're exactly right of just like there's almost some snobbery, if you will, a record store type of mentality.
Yes, thank you for saying that. Yes,
of just like, oh no, this is the action movie I want to watch. I'm just like, no, there's a middle ground of this, and that's where I think like all the heady stuff around this, fine as a conversation after we watch the film though, but I don't think like really key to the experience because it's too blisteringly fast to even stay put on like.
I will say, would you say, though, you watch this for 15 minutes, and if you're not on the train, and not along for the ride by minute 15, minute 20, the film is not for you.
Absolutely. I would say as soon as the phone hangs up and we get the first scream from her,
Yeah,
which we didn't talk about at all, but like it's wild, wild choice. But I would say that's a perfect cutoff because that's basically the start of the first loop.
Right, exactly
we've
right.
gotten the bedrock down. So.
But glad we covered it still. Glad it was on the wheel. So 1998's Run, Lola Run with a 68%. Awesome, Vin. Very, very good. Oh, you just said something that kind of sparked a question. Oh, you said like the record store guy?
Yeah.
Or like that the video store guy?
Right.
Have you seen that clip? I'm going to send it to you. I want to find either that show or that brief movie, that movie it's in, where it's Pedro Pascal is just trying to like rent a movie or something like that, and Tom Hanks is behind the cash register.
Yes. Freaky Times came out last year. It was a new,
show or movie?
New movie.
Oh, I have to watch. Tom Hanks. It might be the best thing he's done in 20 years. But just the fact that like one of the movies is The Verdict.
Yep.
You know, Sidney Lumet. Speaking of which.
Yep.
Hoosiers. He says Hoosiers, which is our inside joke.
I know that's
fantastic.
such a wild clip. Yeah, Freaky Times came out like early last year. I want to say I wanted to cover it, but it was like dead on arrival. Like,
right.
I believe it's like a anthology. It's like a bunch of short films, and that's one of them.
That makes sense. Yeah. There's something I really it's popped up on my algos a little bit, and I watch it every time. A couple times over.
That's great.
Vin, looking at these scores this week, anything you want to touch on? Highlight? Talk about next week? Roll credits? What do you want to do here?
Hopefully a hit. I really did enjoy this week, though.
Yeah, me too, man.
And enjoyed it a lot more than what we would have slapped together as far as tying it into a new movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got some bangers on here.
Yeah, for sure. Next week is a big release. We got Project
Get your space
Hail.
booties on.
Get your space Buzz Lightyear. Report to the Star Command. We got Project Hail Mary. Andy Weir, of course, writing it. That's really
writing the book, the novel at least.
Yes.
The screenplay.
Lord and Miller from Lego Movie fame and I guess 21 Jump Street. I always
21 and 22 Jump Street. People love those comedies.
Yes.
Yeah. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
That's
a real movie. People like that movie.
It is a real movie.
But
Lego
duo.
Movie, I feel like that's where the energy of those two are.
Okay.
And I mean, I think I have high hopes. It's gotten really, really wide praise, but because of that Andy Weir connection, we want to kind of do like a hard science sci-fi episode.
Yeah.
So certainly hard to pin down actually what is in that list.
So many to pick from.
Exactly. It's almost like, there's right answers, but then there's like maybe answers. We're going to be doing Apollo 13 from 95.
Hell yeah.
Contact from 1997, and then we really got to do it for Weir. We are covering The Martian from 2015.
We mentioned all these people.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, accidentally, Tom Hanks was mentioned.
Yeah.
We had Jodie Foster's mentioned. And Matt Damon.
Tissue.
And Matt Damon was mentioned. It's going to be a banger next week. We are spacewalking a big time. Apollo 13, can't wait. I probably watched it three times. You have never seen it.
I've never seen it.
And I believe it's on Netflix right now.
Oh, wow,
So
great.
it's super easy for everyone to get.
That's great.
And Contact is going to be maybe the lesser known ones, but still a big sci-fi.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
For that time period.
For sure.
And The Martian, of course, everyone knows The Martian. We got a banger. And then, because Andy Weir.
Well, easy.
Well, right. Andy
We are both coming from the point
know,
of
but
not liking The Martian.
very excited to talk about it, though.
Yeah.
And to get into it, Ridley Scott and all. We have not had many Tom Hanks films that we covered on the podcast.
Honestly, no.
There was Pinocchio from 2022.
Yep. Finch, that early one.
Yeah.
Which was like...
and we did Greyhound.
Oh.
So these small... but not like
Tom
2009.
Hanks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. And we also... we did...
Road to Perdition?
Oh, yeah. And we did... we did a lot.
Wait.
You got mail?
No, listen. Oh, okay, all right. That's the first good example. Because
so true,
I'm with you 100% of just like
you
think about Tom Hanks.
You did the Green Mile. That's in that 10-year stretch.
That's
We covered way more than I thought.
Mr. Hanks. We've covered you.
But there's so much more to get to him in the 90s.
I'm with you as like there is a lot more iconic roles to it and like the big iconic roles that Tom Hanks is known for. I mean, hell, we're going to cover Toy Story later on this year.
Yeah.
So, it's weird to say. But
You're Hanks, baby. Getting excited for a huge week next week. Vin, thank you so much for this week, though, for these reviews. Had a blast. We'll run these down one more time. We have The Hospital with a 41%, and a 2 shoes, no laces. Paper Moon with an 82%. That is a big score. Network with a 78, and 2 shoes and a lace. And then Lola Run got a 68%. Folks, it's always a blast week after week. We thank you all for listening, and I'll be back here on Tuesday for the new show, and we'll have Vincent Daly back here next Thursday in the chair on the Daily Ratings Podcast.
Top 5 underdog movies. Go.
Oh, I'm actually here for...
Let's begin with the obvious. Rocky. Most people assume it's number 1, and I think it's best just to get it out of the way. It's probably your number 1. Am I right? Never mind. Number 4 just came out last year. It's already an instant classic. You know where I'm going, right? Come on, basketball, man. Dennis Hopper in the same year as Blue Velvet, breaking our hearts both on and off the court. Say it with me on 3. 1, 2, 3. Hoosiers.
I haven't seen it.
And you call yourself a basketball fan?
No, I'm just here for some movies.
And I'm giving them to you, Slim. That's my job. Number 3.
Let's have it.
The Dirty Dozen.
I've seen that.
Underdogs on a suicide mission to kill Nazis. Works on multiple levels.
Right.
Number 2. Sidney Lumet directed this courtroom drama from a perfect script by David Mamet, starring Paul Newman at his incomparable ambulance-chasing best. The Verdict.
I heard that was good.
No, you didn't. What you probably heard is that it is amazing. So why haven't you seen it yet? Are you even ready for number 1?
You have no idea.
In his review of this 1979 film, Roger Ebert wrote, quote, "Movies like this hardly ever get made. When they're made this well, they become precious cinematic miracles," unquote. Name that picture.
And hey, if you enjoyed the podcast, if you would, give us a good rating or get the word out and tell a friend about us. And just a reminder that the Daily Ratings is completely producer supported. We want to stay away from advertising, and we don't want to have any paywalls or tier structures or subscriptions. It's all just value for value. So, are you finding value in what we're doing here at the Daily Ratings? Then become a producer and donate whatever amount of value that is. Just go to the donations tab on thedailyratings.com, and while you're there, be sure to check out the massive amount of films that Vince has rated. So thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you next time on the Daily Ratings Podcast.